chain story. That one? Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a group of children. They were out camping in the woods with a grown-up, obviously. And they were trying to earn their patches because they were scouts. Anyway, the grown-up of this group was telling them a story, just like I'm telling you. But it was a scary story. And just as the kids were starting to get bored, because they totally didn't believe them or really buy the story, they heard a noise in the woods. It was like a loud howling noise, but it wasn't canine of origin. So the scout leader left to go investigate. Next person. We'll go on my left. So Zeus. Oh. In that case, Niels? Or are you just recording? No, it's okay. You can type it if you want. I'll read it aloud. Be local. It's fine. Okay. So the scout leader walked into the pitch-dark woods, making his way through the trees, where it was so dark he could not see 10 feet ahead. Then, all of a sudden, he felt like something was breathing on his neck. You're the one that wrote it. The scout leader took a big gulp, afraid to turn around. However, it is their duty to protect the campers. The leader took a deep breath and, ew, whoever is back there has stinky breath. They spin around to face the mysterious... Sorry guys, I got a dog in my face. Careful, Autumn. Me?
Was that you? I heard a weird squeak. Okay.
Autumn is this dog staying with us, and she decided to climb onto my desk. So yeah, that was me trying to get her off. The scoutmaster slowly turned around and saw deep red eyes staring at the creature with drool dripping from its mouth, causing him to gasp in a few. I was trying not to say that in a baby voice. It was very hard. Yeah, but I'm not. It would have been weird if I started talking in a baby voice. We're doing a chain story. So far, it's about a Boy Scout, or Boy/Girl Scouts. They're in the woods, and their camp leader was telling them a scary story. But then they heard a noise, so the camp leader went to investigate, and when he turned around, he saw a stinky breath creature with red eyes and a drooling mouth. It's a chain story, Cord. The camp leader said to everyone, "Run as fast as you can!" And everyone started running and screaming into the woods, but after a while, they had to catch their breath and have a rest. But they realized that one of the kids was missing. No, Cord is next. If he's ready. Yeah, I will. It's about some, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts in the woods with their camp leader, and the camp leader was telling a scary story, and they went into the woods to investigate a noise. Their scout leader took a big gulp afraid to turn around. However, it is their duty to protect the campers. The leader took a deep breath and, ew, whoever is back there has stinky breath. They spin around to face the mysterious. Scoutmaster slowly turned around and saw deep red eyes staring at the creature with drool dripping from its mouth, causing him to gasp in a few. The camp leader said to everyone, "Run as fast as you can!" And everyone started running and screaming into the woods, but after a while they had to catch their breath and have a rest. But they realized that one of the kids was missing. Okay, so now you're caught up, Cord. They were all scared and tired and tried to find a place to hide so they could make up a plan to find the lost kid, but heard the monster walk around. Yeah. Zarina, why don't you, end the story for us? Well, if you want to finish it off, Cord, you can. I don't think she's responding. Yeah, I did. He said they were all scared and tried to find a place to hide so they could make up a plan to find the lost kid, but heard the monster walk around. Yeah, you can go after Zarina, Randy. They were all scared and tried to find a place to hide so they could make up a plan to find the lost kid, but heard the monster walking around. You can finish it for us, Randy. Yep, just type it in local. No, wait till Zarina, and then you can go. But the monster found them all, and with one giant bite, him eats them all. After that, there was only some bones and blood left. Then were gone forevers and nevers returned home. Wait, that was Niels. Niels, yours doesn't count. Zarina, go on. The one little girl looked at all the scaredy cat boys and picked up a feather and walked out to tickle the monster with it. Hers hid it until the monster getting close enough, then jumps on it and started to tickle it. The monster laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed, and Hims not seemed so scary no more, 'cause Hims was laughing too hard to be scary. Okay, Randy, last one. Your turn. But then they found it out the monster were just a big poop. So they flushed him down the camp potty, and then go get cookies and ice cream and lives happily ever after and never has to leave camp for the rest of them lives. Okay then. Interesting. I think it was the girl that tickled the monster. Sure. Show me your ending. Yeah, they did. It was the little girl, because the boys were all hiding, and yeah. The monster came closer and closer, and everyone started hearing giggles and was wondering what was going on. They went to check, and there stood the lost child, and the monster was just a big fake. The kids said, "Gotcha all," the end. That's pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to tell you a scary story. Two young brothers were at home alone in the apartment while their parents visited their neighbors next door for a while. "Be good, boys," their parents said. To keep themselves occupied, the boys decided to play a game of hide and seek. The older boy turned his head to the wall and began to count. He could hear his little brother's feet as he scampered about looking for a place to hide. "Ready or not, I'm coming!" cried the older brother, and off he went looking for his brother. He looked in all the usual places. Behind the sofa, in the bathroom, behind the shower curtain, behind the curtains in every room, and under all the beds. But he couldn't find him. The apartment was eerily silent. Then he heard a scraping sound coming from the wardrobe. The boy was sure he'd already looked there, but he went anyway and called out, "Come out, I found you!" But there was only silence. Again he called for his brother to come out, and again nothing. Opening the door, the boy tried to peer behind the wall of dresses and coats hanging there. He bent down, but he did not see any feet standing there. He began to rise up and put his hands into the mass of clothing to feel for his little brother, when a small, white, icy cold hand came out, grabbing his wrist, and tried to pull him into the closet. As he is trying to pull himself free, he hears a noise behind him, looks over his shoulder, and sees his brother behind him. "Couldn't you find me?" asked the boy. The older brother screams in fright and desperately tries to free himself from the grip of the hand, all the while being pulled into the wardrobe. The younger brother grabs him, and together they manage to pull free. They both run screaming from the apartment. Nobody knows what would have happened if the hand had managed to pull him in. Do you? Niels! Niels, don't cry! Niels! Guys, it was just a story. Don't worry. And there's no wardrobes here, so you're safe. There's just suitcases. Guys, come on! It's okay. No, you can't go home. It's okay. You're safe here. You've got tons of grown-ups watching over you. It'll be fine. Now, who wants tuck-ins? Anybody want to tuck in? Or a bathroom break?
No.
So, who wants another scary story? You want another one, Niels? Okay. Let's see. What have we got? How about... This one is called Ball Pit. The Ball Pit is a scary urban legend about the hidden dangers lurking beneath the hundreds of brightly colored balls in a children's play area. A mother took her eager 3-year-old son to a fast food restaurant for lunch. The boy finished his lunch quickly and asked his mom if he could go play in the play area. The restaurant had a special little play area at the side with some tunnels, a slide, and a ball pit for kids filled with plastic balls. She watched as the boy crawled through the tunnels, went down the slide, and jumped into the ball pit. He jumped up and down on the brightly colored balls, dove into them, and burrowed down under them. The boy had been playing for about 10 minutes when, all of a sudden, he stopped and began to cry loudly. The mother rushed to her son, picked him up, and asked him what was wrong. The little boy just wailed and pointed to his butt. His mother pulled down his pants and saw 2 little red marks on one of his butt cheeks. She thought he must have sat on something sharp, but just to be sure, she took him to the hospital. A doctor examined the little boy in the emergency room and told the mother that the marks on her son's butt were a snake bite. The doctor gave the boy an antidote for the snake poison and kept him in the hospital overnight for observation. The next day, the boy's mother returned to the fast food restaurant to complain. She approached the counter and shouted at one of the teenagers who worked there, "My son was bitten by a snake in your ball pit," the woman screamed. "You should count yourself lucky, lady," said the teenager. "A kid got eaten by a shark in there last week." That wasn't really scary, was it? Okay, how about this one? It's called Elmo Knows. You know Elmo. Big furry red dude. It all started last Saturday. It was a day like any other. My mother announced that she was going shopping, leaving me at home to take care of my little brother. I was in the kitchen, browsing the internet on my laptop, and my brother was in the living room playing with his toys. I listened to my brother jumping around, squealing and laughing. Suddenly, I noticed that everything was strangely quiet. I thought my brother must have fallen asleep, but when I went into the living room to check on him, I found him on the couch, sitting perfectly still. His eyes were fixed on the TV. "What are you watching?" I asked. Without taking his eyes off the TV, he replied, "Elmo." Everything seemed normal, or so I thought. When theme music finished, Elmo came out from behind a curtain and said, "Ha ha ha, thanks for coming to see my show, you stupid morons." That struck me as a weird thing for Elmo to say, since it was supposed to be a program for children. Then a chill went down my spine as the small red puppet let out an eerie and macabre laugh. Elmo hopes you have... I gotta do the Elmo voice. Elmo hopes you have fun, because it may be the last time. Ha ha ha! Don't turn off the TV, or you will pay dearly. Elmo doesn't like boys and girls who turn off the TV. Turning off the TV is bad. Yes, Elmo, my brother said. He was talking to the TV. Remember what Elmo told you last time? Ha ha ha! Elmo has a new talking doll coming out. It will be in shops on Saturday. Your parents need to buy you a talking Elmo doll. Ha ha ha! I know, Elmo, said my brother. You know what happens to parents who don't buy Elmo's products. Elmo came closer to the camera until his face filled the entire screen. In a shrill voice he screamed, Elmo knows where you live! I was about to turn off the television when the puppet said something else. It seemed as if he was talking directly to me. Ah, 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 he shouted. Someone is being very naughty. You know what Elmo does to naughty people. Elmo took out a big, sharp knife and waved it around, stabbing at the air. Just remember, Elmo knows where you live, he screeched. He gave me such a fright, I panicked and turned off the TV. Elmo knows where you live. My little brother glared at me, and without saying a word, he got up and left the room. That evening, he began pestering my parents to buy him a talking Elmo doll. At first they refused, but day after day he persisted. By Saturday he had worn them down, and they agreed to take him to the mall to buy the toy he wanted. I went with them. When we arrived at the store, it was 11 a.m. and there was a huge queue outside. It seemed like everyone in town wanted a talking Elmo doll. My little brother was shaking with excitement. After waiting in the queue for more than 2 hours, the manager finally came out and told us they were sold out of Elmo dolls. Everyone began to panic until the manager said there was one doll left and he was going to hold a raffle to see who would be allowed to buy it. He held up a big glass jar filled with pieces of paper and went through the crowd handing them out. When he came to my brother, he said, "Grab a ticket and we'll see if you win." My brother reached in and pulled out a piece of paper. I looked at the number on the ticket. It was 666. Soon it was time for the big draw, and the crowd were getting impatient. Everyone was pushing and shoving. The manager shouted, "And the winner is number 666! Here, I have it!" cried my little brother. My father grabbed the doll, handed over the money, and we ran to the car. The crowd were eyeing us angrily. It looked as if they were thinking about attacking us and stealing the doll. On the way home, my brother had a huge smile on his face. He kept pulling the cord on the doll and making it talk. "Elmo loves you," said the doll in a high-pitched voice. "I love you too, Elmo," my brother replied. That night, my brother went to sleep with Elmo. At around 3 in the morning, I suddenly woke up. I heard a sound and peered into the darkness. Elmo was sitting in a chair opposite my bed. I let out a scream and woke my parents. They came running into my bedroom, switched on the lights, and asked me what was wrong. I pointed at the doll. My father asked if I had put it there. "Of course not," I told him. "Then how did it get here?" my dad asked. "Maybe it's alive," I mumbled. "Don't be stupid," my dad replied, giving me a withering look before he went back to bed. I grabbed the Elmo doll and put it back in my brother's room. Then I tried to get some sleep. At dawn, I heard a blood-curdling scream. It came from my parents' room. Apparently, my dad had woken up to find the Elmo doll sitting on his chest. It was holding a knife. "What do you want to do with it?" he asked. "We have to throw it away," I said. "I've got a better idea," said my dad. "Let's burn it." That was fine with me. When my little brother found out what we were planning to do, he began screaming and crying. My dad wrenched the doll from his grip and we left. My brother stood at the front door screaming, "No, don't kill Elmo!" We decided to burn the doll in a field. It was on a hill around 8 miles from our house. My dad threw Elmo in a ditch and emptied a can of gasoline over him. Then he lit a match and threw it. The doll went up in a huge fireball. My father got back into the car and shut the door. Just as he started the engine, we heard a loud scream, and to my horror, I saw Elmo leap out of the ditch. The charred doll was running around in circles in a ball of flames. Suddenly, it jumped over our windshield and began beating on the glass and screeching at us. My dad floored it, the accelerator, and we sped off down the road. Elmo was hanging onto the windshield wipers. His whole body was on fire, but his eyes seemed to be burning with hatred. My dad switched on the windshield wipers and the doll was flown off the car. So what did you think? That's it! That's the end of the story. Okay, well, yeah, that's it. Well, it's now free time, so I won't torture you guys anymore. Niels, why are you crying? Elmo's dead, I think.
Yeah.
I love you.
It was a pretty freaky story, even for kids. I mean, it's a scary for kids website, but geez. Yeah, you can go, Kimmy. It's free time.